with head coach Rocky Long after the game against Boise State. You know what I will always try to think back and wonder? What if? I'm not sure coaches are big what if guys, but broadcasters and fans, they're what ifs. I wanted to see you play your best game, best game, and then let the chips fall against a terrific football team, and you don't turn it over, the one thing that comes and bites you. So you'll never know how it might have been. I guess there's nothing we can do about that.
No, not now. You can't
Nope.
do anything about it. And, a couple of those were some of our better players that made mistakes. We throw an interception early on. We fumble a punt early on and give them a short field. And when they jump up, a team like that, when they jump up 21-0, it's going to be bad the rest of the night. But in reality, the score looks terrible.
Sure.
And I understand that, and there's no going back. In reality, from that point on, it was a pretty even game, and it should have been an exciting, well-fought football game, but we shot ourselves in the foot early on.
Yeah, that was the problem, and they did come back. It's bizarre to think of fine defensive plays and good defense overall. Maybe you'll correct me on that. And it wasn't against a great quarterback and a great team with some tremendous skilled people as well as great linemen. And it's bizarre. And this is a team, yours, I remember, had 3 straight games with no turnovers. I've never seen that, and don't ever do that. And it's just. And you talked about the law of averages. It's there. It's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, you're going to turn the ball over. It's too bad we did it early and we did it back to back to back.
Yeah.
It's really too bad. Now, we went into the game knowing they were a great football team, and we were going to win the game. And so we blitzed a lot, we played a lot of man coverage. And guess what? Those receivers and the quarterback were better than we were in coverage at the time, or we didn't get enough pressure on the quarterback. But we're always going to go into every game to try to win the game. The score could have been better, too, if we don't onside kick, if we don't try to score the last drive of the first half and give them a short field. But we're going to win the game. It didn't work out this time, but it will sooner or later.
Tell me about this guy, Kellen Moore. Let's say you're an NFL coach, you're an NFL scout. You're looking at this guy, and they say he's too short. They say average to plus arm, average to above average, that's whatever, but a quick release. I thought this guy has got it from the neck up. This guy can read defenses and is really, really a tremendously accurate passer, is he not?
He's the most accurate quarterback in college I've ever played against. He puts the ball on the money more than anybody else I've seen. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's some pro guys, but I must have not have seen them in college or something, because there's some pro guys throw it like that. But I heard this same stuff last year about Andy Dalton.
Sure.
And he's having a great rookie year. So someone's going to take Kellen Moore, and Kellen Moore is going to be a fine pro quarterback.
What did they do things that you had not expected? Did they change things up, or they stay with their base offense?
No, they do the same things every week. And you know what? Great teams, that's how they do it. They do the same things every week, and they execute it really, really well. And they say, try to stop us. And to be honest, nobody has stopped them. And I think Kellen Moore's lost 3 games in 3 years. Mm-hmm. And the only time he's lost a game was when the other team outscored him.
Amen. Amen. You tried to use Ronnie Hillman. And high ankle sprains, that's tough, isn't it, in terms of the difference between the regular low, whatever, low and high. Highs are tougher. He gave it a shot, but you thought, I'm sure, that he just wasn't there.
Well, experience tells you a high ankle sprain takes longer to heal than a normal ankle sprain, and you and I don't know what we're talking about. I don't, but
Sure.
That's what the trainers tell me. No, we put him in the game, and he was much better than he was the second half of Colorado State. But he didn't have his normal acceleration and explosion power. And then the game got out of hand early. If the game would have been close, we would have probably saved him and then tried to insert him in the fourth quarter or something to try to win the game. Mm-hmm. But there was no reason to take a chance of re-injuring him with the game the way it started.
Moema, number 39, and you told me a couple of weeks ago that you really like this kid. He goes 81 yards. He has his first touchdown. He has his second Aztec varsity touchdown. He catches the ball. Tell me about this guy in terms of that's got some skills.
Yeah, he's a pretty good running back. He's a tough guy that we have a hard time tackling in practice. Mm-hmm. And we knew he was a pretty good player. He's not as good as Ronnie. He doesn't have the same explosion that Ronnie has or the same speed or quickness. But you could tell he runs pretty fast, and he's a powerful guy. We also got 2 freshmen in the program that we think are pretty good running backs, too. They just don't get to play because of Ronnie and Walter. Now, Adam's going to play more since we've had the bad injury to Walter, but we think Ronnie will be okay this week.
With Rocky Long, he's bowl eligible, but he's got to win the next 2. That's an absolute fact. In addition to the other details and all these balls that are up in the air in the bowl system, we'll come back and talk about UNLV. Gotta win when we continue here with Aztecs Now in a moment.
So here's Hillman. Hillman getting the edge.
on the shotgun. Ryan has time. Can he find somebody? One-hand grab. Gavin Escobar. Touchdown, Aztecs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your continued support.
On behalf of our 500-plus student athletes, 19 head coaches, numerous assistant coaches and staff members,
Thank you for your support of the Aztec Club. We couldn't do it without your support.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, and go Aztecs.
With Rocky Long again after the game against Boise State, getting ready for UNLV. And just back to the Boise State game for just a moment, I thought this team has lost its wide receivers. I don't mean Vincent Brown and DeMarco. I mean lost the guys you thought you were going to have. And you've had some drops, you've had some problems. But I thought the guys, for the most part, in moving the ball, caught the ball pretty well this game.
I thought the second half was the best they've played all year, which hopefully is a really good sign for the next couple games. And I think that Ryan has played better the last two games than he played. He probably played real well early in the season, but he's played better the last 2 weeks than he did in that middle span. So hopefully the receivers coming on and Ryan being hot will get us through the next two games.
You got some tight ends. This Gavin Escobar, and the Aztecs have had some great tight ends through the years. This guy is 6'6", got some hands, had himself another 2-touchdown game. This guy looks like to me he'll play on Sundays eventually.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a great receiver already, and he's getting better at blocking at the point of attack. So the better he gets, the better his chances are of being in the NFL.
Well, I believe that. I really do. UNLV, and everybody say, well, this is one of those, you got to win, you can't lose, you're so much better and all that stuff. I know coaches hate to hear that because anybody on the old any given Saturday, any given Sunday thing, but they have been struggling.
They've struggled some. They've had a couple really good games, but they've struggled some. But all you have to do is look at last weekend in college football and all those top 10 teams that lost that were supposed to win that were the one we were hoping that North Carolina State, Clemson would beat North Carolina State because it might help our bowl chances.
Sure.
Well, Clemson's ranked number 7 in the country. They're 30-point favorites or something, and North Carolina State annihilates them. I think the final score was 37-6 or 16 or something. So that can happen any weekend. And these guys have some talented players. So if they get hot and we're not, we're in deep trouble.
Your injury situation, has it gotten worse in terms of what you've heard so far, or is everything okay? Because it's been pretty bad lately.
Yeah, well, here in the last few weeks, we've lost some really key players and some starters and all that. And I don't think we lost anybody in the game Saturday, but none of those good players are coming back with the experience are coming back. They're done for the season. So we're in the same boat as we were last week.
Man, oh man, because Brandon Davis got hit, they took him out, possible concussion, all that stuff. It is, you got to be good, you got to be lucky, got to stay healthy. Speaking of good players, we're coming up with a conversation here shortly with number 29, Larry Parker. This guy, local kid, went to junior college and was a backup. Man, he's come on to beat. Just has one of those guys that knows for the ball, hits hard. His 6th interception on Saturday. He's had a good senior year, hasn't he?
He's had a great one. I mean, when he came here, I don't think he was ready for Division I college football. He's made a ton of improvement, and now I think we've got the best tandem of corners in the league. Might not have the absolute best corners, but the two of them together with Leon McFadden, that's pretty good. If we could cover the slots like we cover the wideouts, we'd be in good shape.
Are you displeased or pleased with your defense? You're the defensive guru, you always have been. I'm sure you're hard to please as a result. Overall, are you pleased? I know after giving up that many points, but it's Boise State.
Well, if you think about it, and I'm not worried about the Boise State game anymore, but 5 of their touchdowns were from the 50-yard line in. 3 of their touchdowns were from the 25-yard line in.
Yeah, 1 from the 11.
It doesn't matter how good your defense is. They're going to score points, especially a team like that if they get a short field.
Sure.
I'm hot and cold whether I like our defense or not. I mean, we've done a great job of causing turnovers all year long.
Yep.
But we haven't played the run. Now that we've got rid of the wishbone teams, we haven't been playing the run as well as I would like. And then we got into, we're going to go after the quarterback, Kellen Moore, and we're going to play man coverage against Boise State. And if we could have covered them man-to-man, we could get them in trouble. But they were too good at wide receiver for us, and quarterback's real accurate. But like I said earlier, I mean, we're never gonna take the let's keep it close attitude. We're going out every game to try to win it, and I'd rather it happen like it did Saturday than not try to win the game and make it look a little bit better.
Sure, sure. And Larry Parker, by the way, it mentioned that players talk about bowl games. They look at all those scenarios, and it's in their mind because it's such a big, special thing, especially for guys like Larry, who's a senior. How much do you and the coaching staff look at this and think, what if this team goes there and that team goes there? Because it is so huge for your program. Additional practices, money, everything else. It is big, isn't it?
Yeah, it's big because it helps your program. Obviously, the seniors get a pat on the back by getting to go to a bowl game for their senior year, but more than that, it helps your program. It helps recruiting if you're in a bowl game. It helps develop your team because you have 15 extra practice sessions. Mm-hmm. Your team goes into the off season with a great attitude. They go into spring practice with a great attitude. And if you're bowl eligible, and we've been bowl eligible for over a week now, if you're bowl eligible and don't get to go, it has the exact opposite effect on your program. The kids are a little bit depressed. They don't go into the off season or the spring practice with the same attitude. Sure. You don't get the extra practices. So, we're bowl eligible, and hopefully our league can do something about getting us in a bowl game no matter what happens the next 2 weeks.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Rocky, thanks, and good luck down there in Las Vegas. Underdogs against Boise State, favored against UNLV. Big game coming up. Rocky Long of the Aztecs.
Rayhan baseline for three. Got it! Here come the Aztecs. Alley-oop to Jamal Franklin. Slam dunk. Don't stop believing.
Continuing with Aztecs Now with number 29, Larry Parker. I don't know how many games you've seen on television in person, but this guy's having some kind of season. He and Leon McFadden lead the Mountain West Conference in passes broken up. He leads the conference in interceptions. He got number 6 in the game against Boise State. Kellen Moore. This guy, they had the Sports Illustrated article about him a few weeks ago where defensive backs were saying, this guy looks you off and can actually look at you and throw to somebody else. How do you defend that? Was he the toughest you faced or not?
He was one of the toughest I faced, yes. Andy Dalton last year was pretty good too, but Kellen Moore is right up there with him.
That's a team. And so, you know what, I look back from a broadcast standpoint and following the Aztecs and think, boy, I just wanted to see the Aztecs play their best game and see how they do against a team like this that's, 7 in the BCS and been in the BCS for like 35 consecutive weeks, whatever. And it didn't happen. A strange game, because you guys never turn it over.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's really strange. So we'll see how that goes next week.
And likewise, like we said about forgetting what happened bad and going ahead, early on in the game, what were you thinking? Because it wasn't the defense. I thought the defense, actually, it sounds strange in a 52-29 game, but the defense actually, I thought, played well. Just the turnovers in the kicking game just killed it.
Yeah, we shot ourselves in the foot with 3 quick turnovers early in the game, but it was early in the game. We could have still came back and won, but we didn't pull through in the end.
Is that, they always talk about crowds energizing. There were 52,000 people there, and that's the second time this year there's been a 50,000 crowd. Are you aware of the noise? Does it make people say, well, you make the play, they're the 12th man, they make the team play better. Does that get in your mind? Does that help at all?
You can feel them, but
yeah.
it doesn't really bother the game at all. It just depends on if the team brings energy or not. So I think we had energy. It's just we shot ourselves in the foot with the 3 turnovers early.
Yeah, so you get your 6th interception. Great tip by number 9, Miles Burris, and the usual. They teach guys to do that tip drill. Tip it in the air, and here comes number 29 again. 6 interceptions. That's a lot. That's a lot. Is that a matter of, and I assume a combination of things, being in the right place, being lucky, whatever, but you got to admit that's a high number. That's a good number.
Yeah, 6 is a solid number, but it comes in a good time. Miles tipped the ball to me, so it wasn't like I did too much to get that one. But I still give credit to the scout team for giving me good looks in practice and helping me get in the right spots for the game. So I credit them a lot.
Did they do, by the way, did Boise State, did they have new looks that you had not seen? Did they do anything different from what you had prepared for?
It was a couple plays where they lined up different than what we practiced, but we still lined up right and we played it right.
Now you got 2 games left. How much? Everybody talks about bowl games because that's what people have in terms of their goal. They want to win a conference championship. That's not going to happen. TCU has the share with their win on Saturday. So you talk about bowl games. Do you guys talk about bowl games or not as players?
As players, we always talk about bowl games. We want to go to a bowl game every year. So at this point, we just want to win the rest of our games and hopefully see what happens after that.
Because people have talked about with all these other, so I don't know how much to get into the scenarios where you could be 8-4. I've seen 6 and 5 teams get in bowl games, and 8-4 might not be enough. That would be tough in your last year.
Yeah, it would be tough, but we can't think about that right now. We just got to keep winning the games.
That's a fact. Before this season, when I was thinking of you, in fact, when they had asked Colin Lockett to go from defense to offense, and I thought, wait a minute, Larry was a good receiver at St. Augustine High in San Diego. He played on both sides of the ball. I remember his senior year, he had 8 interceptions, let alone 6, and 45 receptions. Did you think about the idea? They didn't talk to you, did they? Would you say, wait a minute, Lockett, I'm a receiver too. Would you have done that? Would you think about it?
Yeah, I would have done that. I thought about it too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And he's had his moments, and I thought became a really big threat early, but that's hard to do. But you would have done that.
I would have. Yeah.
What if they asked you? Because that's been done. Several players have done that. Would you play both sides of the ball this year if that had come up?
I would. Yeah. I would love to do that.
That's good. I mean, that would be tough. It's hard enough, especially the position you're talking about, to do that. But that would have been interesting.
Right.
What about UNLV coming up on Saturday in terms of a team? And I understand, I mean, the idea that looking past someone is stupid. We just talked about you got to win the 2 last games. So I assume you guys are rather focused.
Right, yeah. We have to focus on this team. They're not better or worse than any other team that we've played so far. Anybody can beat anybody any week, so I believe that we can beat them and they can beat us. But we have to prepare better than they do.
Hey, Larry, from a broadcast standpoint, broadcasting the games on radio, it has been a pleasure watching you play, and I congratulate you on a fantastic senior year.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us. That's number 29, local kid from St. Augustine High and Grossmont College here in San Diego, and now finishing up his Aztec career with a great all-conference type senior season. Speaking of great players, a conversation with a couple of running backs, Ronnie Hillman and Walter Casey, as we continue here with Aztecs Now in a minute.
So here's Hillman. Hillman getting the edge. Lifts in. Touchdown.
On the shotgun, Ryan has time. Can he find somebody? One-hand grab. Gavin Escobar. Touchdown, Aztecs.
Aztecs have 2 of the best running backs they've had in a long, long time. An All-American type from his freshman year, Ronnie Hillman, number 13, hurt now but able to play and should play against UNLV in the last 2 games of the season. And Walter Casey, number 34, who had an ACL problem, out for the season after the game with Colorado State. Now, people think when they see 2 running backs like that, well, they must be competitors and at each other's throats and trying to get the most playing time. Not the case. These are great players. These are good friends. These are Ronnie Hillman and Walter Casey.
Ronnie Hillman, running back, San Diego State.
Walter Casey, running back, San Diego State. He's a great guy. You know, we've been roommates last year. He's a great person. Makes me laugh. He's funny. He's a good football player, obviously. You know, a good all-around guy.
Let's see, where should we start? Oh, you know, he's quiet when he wants to, but you know, when he's definitely in a comfortable place, he's probably the loudest person in the room.
Oh, wow.
He likes to eat. You know, he eats like kind of. When we was roommates, he likes to snack a little bit, but you know, it was I got used to it. But I mean, overall, he's a good guy. You know, he's he always got your back, and you know, I trust him, and you know, he's a good player and you know, a good friend.
I have great confidence in Ronnie. Like, when we're on the practice field, like, he gets a lot of plays, and if he gets tired, I'm like, do you need help? And and he does the same for me too. So I remember one practice I was dying, and he was hopping in for me. So yeah, we're like brothers.
Yeah.
Good combination.
Yeah, it doesn't help that we had the same birthday, so.
Oh yeah.
He's just a year older.
Yeah, I'm the big brother.
Whatever.
The big little brother.
Whatever.
Yeah. Ronnie's great. I'm pretty sure anybody that ever watches the game knows that he's a great player. And that play was kind of crazy. I don't know how he went in the middle, then stopped. And he's so fast that he can just break to the sideline anytime he wants to and turn up the sideline. And yeah, he's great.
You have to, embrace that. He is one of the best running backs that ever played here and in the NFL. And, he comes and supports the team and the university. And, he's been a voice for the program. And, knowing him as a person, he's a good guy, and he believes in this running game. And, he's there's nothing to say about his talent. It spoke for itself, obviously, because he's in the Hall of Fame.
I didn't get a chance to see Marshall Faulk a lot, but seeing Ronnie, they compare him to Marshall Faulk, so you're like, wow, he's probably better than Marshall Faulk, and I'm being able to see this.
Of course, Walter, he doesn't get any, of the public eye because of the way the offense is set up. But last week, the coaches showed him love, and they gave him the opportunity to get down there, show him that he could get the ball in the end zone, and he did a great job running the ball, and he did a great job, getting those touchdowns. He had 3, and I think that was the most he had, one game in his career, and it's kind of it's good to see that he had that accomplishment.
Yeah, that was fun. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
He went to work on the celebrations. Kind of was boring. I was like, come on, man.
I can't.
He was just like, oh yeah. He was just sitting there. I'm like, man, you just scored. You gonna jump, clap something, Just a little salute, or just you can't see me.
I like this one. I like that one you did.
Oh, you like
that? That was a good one. I like that one.
I'll let you borrow that one.
I'm gonna take that.
All right, go ahead.
That is Aztecs Now for this week. We thank Rocky Long, number 29, Larry Parker, Walter Casey, Ronnie Hillman. Big game against UNLV on the Mountain Network and Channel 4 in San Diego. I'll have the radio broadcast on FM News and Talk 95.7 and AM 600. Aztecs must win the next 2, starting with Las Vegas at 7 o'clock on Saturday. Thanks for being with us. Next week again on Aztecs Now.